The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force.
Welcome back to the JP Reacts channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Now, freedom fighter of the day, who we're gonna watch a little video from in a second, talk about it, Tucker Carlson. In my book, he absolutely qualifies as a freedom fighter. I'm sure you know he was fired from Fox about a week ago, and it's a freaking big deal. They've silenced one of the most powerful freedom fighting voices out there. Something fishy's going on, and of course we're always interested in looking at the fish. So with that, Tucker Carlson, he put out his first statement, first video since the firing, where they agreed to mutually part ways, which is an absolute lie. He was fired. Note for this, the video, Tucker's speaking relatively vaguely. I think he's talking about very important, potent points. He's not talking about Fox directly, because I'd imagine legally there's some things he's best not to talk about right now for various reasons that I know not of. But he's still speaking vaguely, and in my opinion, it's a very powerful perspective that he's sharing as it relates to mainstream media, lies, hypocrisy, and corruption, lies you can trust, and as that relates to people who are interested in freedom and sovereignty. Let's take a look at what freedom lover Tucker Carlson has to say.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people, people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even
He's talking about me
now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are.
They couldn't be dumber. They couldn't be less productive. Amen to that. Just like, oh, you've got 30 seconds to say your point, but we're going to interrupt you repeatedly while you say that. Man, I can't watch those sort of like, hey, we've got the four news people here. We're going to bring on a guest that we all try to harpoon. Can't watch those.
They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated.
By the way, I love his honesty and self-ownership. A character trait that reveals a character that you can't trust is someone who will not admit when they're wrong, and they won't change their mind. And conversely, a character trait that I look for in people that to me gives me great evidence this person has really good character is someone who's willing to admit when they're wrong and change their mind. So here's Tucker really owning, yeah, those ridiculous, stupid debates that do nothing. It's just mainstream media noise, propaganda noise, probably controlled opposition. He's owning it. I participated in those. And just recently, I also saw another video of him talking about the Iraq war and saying he's ashamed of himself because back in the early 2000s, the Bush administration, they definitely have weapons of mass destruction. They're not there, but we got to go find them. At the time, in Tucker's broadcasting, he was very supportive of the war. And now looking back, he owns it. He said, no, I'm ashamed I supported the war. I fell for it. I love that. Nobody's perfect, but a good character trait is when someone could admit their imperfections, call it out, and own it. That's part of how you develop trust with people. So nonetheless, I really appreciate that about Mr. Tucker Carlson.
And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all.
Are the big topics like which restroom to use? No.
War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues?
No, basically just the debate if biological men can become biological women. To his point, things that will do nothing to improve our lives. But war, World War III, economics, okay, that matters. That actually makes what's called a difference in our lives. That's why they're important topics.
It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them.
That's called the Uniparty, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two political parties. That's controlled opposition. It's really one party. And by the way, mainstream media, we own you. So welcome to the club.
And they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it.
Thus, Tucker Carlson was fired.
Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't.
I really love that message of hope in there. It's not permanent. It's too ridiculous to continue, so it won't. We got to have hope. It's also realistic. It's not just fantasy, put it on your vision board, false hope. It's real. Hope based in reality. That's what we need. And I think he raises a great point.
The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force.
Yeah.
But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker.
And typically, more hysterical, more intimidation, more emotional intimidation. That's why you see someone like, debating Matt Walsh, and they just get emotional, hysterical, because that's a very weak place to be.
That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail.
Woo! True things prevail. I like that. I also think my hair looks like crap today. Please forgive me. True things will prevail.
Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
I like that. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. By the way, a very powerful nod he just did there to the vast importance of the First Amendment. It certainly alludes to, if the First Amendment is gone, which the Uniparty is certainly trying to do, then it's maybe not so much a hopeful time, but more like get your tactical buckets of non-perishable food, your protection, and go out into the woods and survive, protect your family. But that's not where we're at. Could we have that way? Yes. I don't think we will. It's certainly a possibility. Let's just be real. But we're not there. We can still hear words. Are they censored? Yes, we can see the places where they're censored. Tucker Carlson just got literally censored off Fox, completely silenced from that platform. Does YouTube, do they censor all the time? Absolutely. But we still have words. We don't want to get fixated on where words are no longer allowed unless they're approved to speak by the thought police, because we can see those, but also certainly have to acknowledge more space, if you will, in the US, you can still say words compared to really the small ratio of where you can't say words. Yeah, big tech certainly takes up a lot of space on the internet, but we have places like Rumble. We have places like my locals community or other people's communities on locals. And we have this thing called in-person experience where words are absolutely still permitted. So there is great reason for hope. I love it. Nonetheless, it's great for us to hear from Tucker Carlson. He's been silent. I think we'll also continue to hear silence until the dust settles, the legalities of his contract, getting out of it versus Fox continuing to pay him through the end of his contract in 2024, which would effectively make him not allowed to broadcast anywhere else. I don't know specifically if that means he can't broadcast on his own, like a podcast or a Rumble channel. I don't know. And then he figures out his next step. So I think there's going to be a while before the dust settles and we hear more from Tucker Carlson. I'd certainly, when he can, I'd be interested on the specifics of his situation with Fox, what went down from his perspective. But that's really just irrelevant gossip. But I'm curious about it. What really matters is, because Tucker Carlson is a freedom fighter, what matters is when his voice comes out full force, speaking his truth, him, I think, better than anybody else, piercing through the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of the tyrants, representing truth, giving people hope, and giving people direction. Now, we're all our own steward, if you will. So this isn't like, dude, we got to put our faith in Tucker Carlson. He's our only hope, or Donald Trump, or Ron DeSantis, or Joe Biden, if you're a communism kind of person. No, they're great people who bring light. They help the movement. That's important. But I always have to remind myself, it's what you and I do at an individual level that really matters, that will not only give us hope, but turn hope into a beautiful reality where we're bathing in freedom. We are the cells in the body of humanity. One cell, Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump, whoever your favorite freedom fighter is, that one cell isn't going to change the whole body. That's on us. We the people, we're individual cells in the body of humanity, and to function in a healthful, hopeful direction, we've got to take action, keeping our words, thinking, and actions in impeccable alignment with what our heart and soul knows is true, where the North Star compass of our heart is pointing. That's the alignment. I strive to do my best every day. Not perfect, but that's the direction I strive to have my thoughts, words, and actions aligned with. Because guess what? Thoughts, words, and actions, that's what actually moves us. They're always going to move us wherever they're aligned. The question is, where are they aligned? I think the North Star compass of your heart, your soul, is the best direction to align it. We're the cells in the body of humanity. It's a beautiful experience, and we need to do our part. That's why we're in these three-dimensional vehicles. That's why God gave us a voice to voice our thinking. That's why God gave us a body to put into action our thinking that is hopefully aligned with the North Star compass of your heart and soul. With that said, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, I appreciate you watching, and I want to thank the sponsor of today's video for being a tremendous support to me and so many other freedom lovers who are utilizing their health optimizing products, which I love. I'm a big fan, and I mean that from my heart. Been using Bioptimizers for well over 3 years. Sponsor today is Bioptimizers Magnesium Breakthrough. Hey, my friend, I am proud to say today's video is brought to you by Bioptimizers and Magnesium Breakthrough, one of my favorite companies on the planet. I'm going to share something with you that I don't want to. I've been a little bit frazzled lately. I'm under deadlines all the time with work. I've also got my family responsibilities, and I'm keeping up to speed on world events, which tend to be stressful. So it's left me frazzled and stressed out throughout the day. And then I remembered Magnesium Breakthrough. I'm used to taking it just before sleep, which is incredible, helps me sleep better and reduce stress. But then I started taking it in the morning with my morning coffee, which I find helped balance me out, not just from the coffee, which I love, but also balanced me out from the stress that I'm under starting the day, so that the things I encounter that would normally start to feel really stressful just started feeling like regular things that I was doing, which is exactly how they should feel. And Magnesium Breakthrough helped me get there. Magnesium Breakthrough contains all 7 potent forms of magnesium that your body needs to support over 300 functions, including feeling calm, centered, and in control of your stress levels. If you want to bring more of that into your life quickly and easily, then go to magbreakthrough.com/JPReacts. And while you're there, use the discount code JPReacts10 for a discount. And Bioptimizers always loves to give away free gifts with purchase. That's one of the reasons why I love them. Thank you, Bioptimizers.